Welcome back to the Webby O'Neill channel and it's match preview. Nottingham Forest versus Manchester United in the FA Cup. Get involved in today's video, Reds, because there's plenty to discuss. And boy, do we need a response after last week's result. First big game kicking off against Forest on Wednesday.
Forest FA Cup, for those who know the history, 34 years ago, to me, it looks like deja vu. Alex Ferguson, under massive pressure, could be getting the sack, goes to Forest in the FA Cup, and a 20-year-old scores the goal. Now, absolutely, history, you know the history after that. United won everything, but Erik ten Hag is under the same pressure, playing the same team. Nottingham Forest FA Cup. It is so
Did you
big.
give me a goal scorer, Dan, who scored that goal?
Mark Robins. Mark Robins. Listen, we went on to win the FA Cup. Mark Robins, 20 years of age, scored the goal. That night, we was without Brian Robson, Paul Ince and Lee Sharp. We've got the injuries. Same again. Everything is pointing in the same direction for Erik ten Hag. Big pressure on his job. The players fighting for their lives. Are they fighting for their lives? I don't think some of them are, but survival is the name of the game here. To revive United, this FA Cup could be the same as what it did for Fergie. And if you remember, for those that are old enough, Fergie was building something behind the scenes. And in them days, we didn't have the technology or the media what was telling us what was going on behind the scenes with the youth. Now we can see what's going on behind the scenes, what Erik ten Hag is doing. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just telling you, we've got a youth there what are smashing it, just like Fergie's team were. But on the pitch, it was disarray. The manager looked clueless at times. Fergie, people were unsure what was really going on. And the same here now with Erik ten Hag. So this Forest game, deja vu all over again for those what can remember.
Just touching on what you said there, in part, after the Fulham defeat, Erik ten Hag said, you have to see the bigger picture. The bigger picture looks very good. But is Erik ten Hag basically the man to take some of these youngsters and the club forward, though?
34 years ago, you'd have said exactly the same. Is Sir Alex Ferguson. It was Alex Ferguson then, you know what I mean? Was he the man to take forward? People had doubts about him. The same here with Erik ten Hag. What's going on behind the scenes? He thinks there's a good future coming. He thinks he's working with Sir Jim Ratcliffe and INEOS. They all seem to be getting on. All the words seem to be coming out. We're not sure what's going on in the background. And what's going on the pitch, in the squad, we know what's going on. Some bad players there, some people on top money and not putting it in, and some people aren't committed, and that things will change in the summer. But people are expecting Erik ten Hag to change, and they're thinking this game against Forest, if it goes pear-shaped, people out there are thinking Erik ten Hag could get it. Well, the same was said 34 years ago about Sir Alex Ferguson. We just don't know really what's going on in the background. He might just be in charge till the end of the season, get us there, and then turn it round with new players and get the deadwood out. We don't know. It's all speculation. All you can hope for is go to Forest, and I'm hoping go to Forest and have a good cup run here, get to the final, just like we did 34 years ago.
Look, we did have a bit of a run of results, seeing us picking up 3 points before that defeat to Fulham. And when Man United get beat, it does tend to sometimes get overhyped. It's like the world ends.
Yeah.
But do you think Erik ten Hag is feeling the pressure, especially after that press conference, what you listened to against Fulham? Or did you even listen to it?
No, I didn't listen to it.
Yeah, because I didn't either. I heard a few words like I've just mentioned there, and I had to switch off, I've got to be honest.
No, you look at Erik ten Hag and you say to yourself, the results, what have gone on. What is relied on Erik ten Hag is moments in the game. You've not seen anything where you've got a structure, where it's proper working through the game. There's no rhythm to the play. It's all bit part this, bit part that. In every game, you know, right through November, January, it's all bits of moments, and that's what Erik ten Hag's been relying on. And the reality is, the squad's not good enough. But let me tell you something, going to Forest, there's 2 players what have been put out on loan, and you'd say, well, I would say, right, Hannibal and Palestri would be playing against Nottingham Forest, especially on the back of that game against Fulham. You know, at the end of the day, Palestri would have been in front of Forson. Anthony, it looks like the writing's on the wall for him. So Palestri would have got in there. Hannibal would have been in on that pitch. No two ways about it. But INEOS have cut the squad. So the injuries what we're getting is now having a proper effect that these youngsters ain't getting game time with Man United. And they're two players who would have been on that pitch and put in the effort, because Palestri would have put it in and has always put it in. Hannibal, the work rate, the running around from him, would have been on that pitch, unlike a lot of other people who were jogging.
Going to go back to the team, what we think might start against Nottingham Forest. Centre-half position, do you think Raphael Varane sits this one out looking ahead to the City game, or does he start for you?
No, I would have dropped him the other day. He's played him. He can't play 3 games. He's got to be there for the City game, OK? So he won't be in there. So to me, it's a shoe-in, Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire.
OK, right back, still the same. Delo, left back, Lindelof.
Listen, right back, Delo, that's what we've got. He's there. He had a poor game, but he will improve. No two ways about that. That was a poor game he had, but he's got to go back in there. Left back, listen, absolutely. He's got no chance, Lindelof. He's just going to get slaughtered no matter what he does. He got slaughtered the other day, but he's not a left back. And that's what happens when INEOS cut the squad down. They've sent players out on loan. There's nobody in there to do the job. So there you are, put someone in, Lindelof. He's got no chance. He's just going to suffer, and he suffered.
Would you not think about maybe putting Amrabat left back? He has played there a couple of times this season. Would you maybe try him again at left back? Or
no.
Would you just keep it as it is?
He would have already tried him. He would have already put him in there if he was going to. You can't just look. He's been in there. He's had it twice now, Lindelof. Right? He's doing his best. That's all he can do. He's not a left back. You're not going to see him go down the line, overtake players or anything like that. So tactically, it's poor. That's all we've got. It is not Lindelof's fault. It's like putting Anthony left back. He can't do it. You know he's not going to keep the position. He's going to go wandering off. Well, Lindelof doesn't go wandering off. Lindelof's just going to sit there. Don't matter how much you can talk to him, right? Until he's blue in the face. It's not going to work. It ain't going to work. It's a problem.
Yeah, big problem going into midfield as well, because I'm not too sure on the updates with Casemiro, whether that's a concussion or not, because if it was a concussion, what he got brought off with against Fulham, you'd expect him to miss this game at least.
Well, coming off with an head injury, I don't think he'll be risked, to be honest with you. So, me personally, I expect him to be missed. So, it's going to be, well, what can it be, really?
Eriksen maybe coming in. Amrabat in there as well. McTominay. For me, McTominay...
I think you've got to have McTominay in there. That's my opinion, right, for his defensive qualities. Yeah. I think that's what he's there. I think that's what'll happen.
Yeah, I was just thinking after the game with Harry Maguire, which I'm sure we'll get into a couple of his quotes after that match against Fulham. But he mentioned about how big of a loss it was losing Rasmus Højlund and how much of a focal point he is for the team in their attacking play. And for me, if you're talking about focal points with what players are available in that squad, stick Scott McTominay up front. He used to play up front in his younger days. He can hold the ball up, he can head the ball, you know, he can lay the ball off. For me, I'd rather try him in that position than putting him in centre midfield. I really would. Needs must at the moment with injuries and with the selections that we've got available in the squad. I think I'd try that out.
To me, that sounds like desperate stakes.
It is desperate because look at what's left in the squad.
Yeah.
And then you've got to look towards then the Man City game on the Sunday. You know, what are you going to do? Stick Rashford up front against their two centre-halves? He's not going to get nothing.
Yeah, but to me, that's desperate stakes, and it also looks at a failure, and it's a failure of not having the cover with a young lad on the bench. You know, we've seen Hugo go out on loan, but we've seen Hugo this year be on the bench, be in the squad and that, and never be used. So it's a failure. No, I can't see that happening, to be honest with you, because it would undermine everything, what's going on. Listen, they had a week to train and understand that there was a problem with Højlund, and they never dealt with it. Never dealt with it at all.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but you look at our top goal scorers this season, it's Scott McTominay's up there as well, and I'm just thinking, you know, if that's on the players' minds going into the game, after the game as well, about a focal point in the team, I'm just thinking, well, who is a focal point who you could use in a match? And for me, it's got to be Scott McTominay.
Well, that's a worry, isn't it?
It's a massive worry.
It's a worry for Wednesday night against Forest, because, you know, where's the game plan? What's the idea? That idea should have been put in play against Fulham, and it wasn't. It was just poor against Fulham.
The idea of putting Marcus Rashford up top, you know, don't get me wrong, he did score a goal, didn't he, against Nottingham Forest, but they beat us at the end of the day back in December. and he played up front that day. But going off what we're seeing against Fulham, he's not going to offer much in that striker position. So try and put him back out on the left-hand side and stick someone up top. I would be tempted with Ahmad, but for me, he's just not got that physicality you're going to need against centre-halves in the Premier League.
It's a big problem.
Massive problem.
Big problem. You've got to hold the ball up, and at the end of the day, they will defend. So it's going to be hard to get behind them. You know, they're going to be fighting for their lives. They're fighting for their lives in the Premier League. But this is something to give them a bit of relief, Nottingham Forest. Get the crowd going and then look forward to the rest of the season. Do you know what I mean? So really, it's going to be a struggle to get behind them. And without Ireland there, and without someone holding the ball up, you know, it's going to be a struggle. We're just going to have to rely, again, on moments. And at the end of the day, just go for it. Just go for it. Don't sit back. You know, you saw the other day sitting back against Fulham. What was the point of sitting back against Fulham? They were there for the taking, and it was a terrible display all round from everyone. And you can't have that against Forest.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Man United really sit back. When they're going forward, they are going forward, but when then they lose the ball, that's when the danger starts, and you just see gaps in that midfield. It's like they're not too sure of how to set up defensively when they then lose the ball, and then, you know, correct the mistakes in winning the ball back. You know, teams are just noticing it, and picking up on that threat where they can use that.
Look, I've seen teams come to Old Trafford, right, and just attack United, and United have sat back. You look at West Ham.
No, but I think United prefer that when teams come onto them and attack. But when Man United are set up in a defensive shape, so then they can go and counter-attack. It's when United have gone forward and they're in the attacking third, and then the teams get the ball back, then they can just break at pace. Yeah, two balls, two passes. You know, they're on the edge of our box, easy.
Listen, there's something seriously wrong. I don't care what anyone says. There's something seriously wrong what's gone on when you look at the games we've played, the style we've played, how we've played the game, right? They've been exciting games. They've been attacking games from both sides, right? Not exactly what we want to see all the time, right? And then for it to suddenly change against Fulham, right? That performance, right, was not what happened against West Ham, against Aston Villa, against Wolves. We had a fight in us, okay? Wasn't the greatest of football tactically, right? But you've seen effort, commitment and everything. Now, we'll go to Nottingham Forest here, right? That's what I want to see. I don't want to see that Fulham game. We had a week to prepare for that game, and that was the worst performance I've seen. So there is something seriously wrong. And I'm not too sure.
Do you think these players are buying into what he's trying to do on the pitch here, Ten Hag? Because...
No, I don't think it's Ten Hag. I don't think it's Ten Hag.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think the players are buying into what he wants them to do on the football pitch?
No, I think INEOS have come straight in. I think they've come straight in. Brailsford, everything. And they've give out their orders. They've give out the commands. And they're going, bang. This is what we want from you. This is what we expect. This, that. And I think there's a realisation in this squad that I ain't going to be here. I actually believe that some of these players have gone, I ain't going to be here. What I'm hearing, I can't be bothered. When players are running round, jogging, not working for each other, not talking to each other, the attitude and the commitment and the effort on the pitch was totally different than what we've seen for over a month from Man United, okay? There was effort, there was commitment. Yes, tactically it wasn't right and all that, but at the end of the day, right, they put the effort in. And when you've seen what went on, I do believe, right, they've come in, they've laid down the law, bang, out you go, loads of players out on loan. You know, you had your Sancho, you've Donny van der Beek. Yes, we expected that. But a lot of these youngsters, we didn't, okay? And the squad has been left threadbare. And then we've got injuries. And then what's happened is they've come in and they've said, right, from now on, this is the standards we expect from you to play for Manchester United. And some of the players have gone like, well, I looked at Eriksen go on that pitch the other day, right? And I'm telling you, there was no effort, no running. We know we can't do 90 minutes in the Premier League because it's too fast. Still can put in a good performance. Did nothing, no commitment. And there was, you know, again, your Rashford, we know that, right? They have to change against Forest, okay? And Ten Hag should know who we can rely on. Don't play them, as far as I'm concerned. These players who never put it in, who know they're going, I wouldn't play them.
Yeah, because even if you look at the results against Aston Villa and Wolves, even though we won them, just scraped them.
Yeah.
They still kept on fighting till the end, and that's why we got the late goals that we did. But you didn't see that for the majority of the game against Fulham, and you've seen it late on, don't get me wrong, where they threw the kitchen sink at it. But that's because then Fulham just sat back, kept compact, and waited for that counter-attack, which got them the second goal, really.
Well, Fulham there, 1-0, decided 10 minutes from the end, right, that's it.
I just don't...
Close up shop. 1-0, that'll do us. We're at Old Trafford. What a victory. I'll take this all day long. There's no need for us. But I'll tell you what, when we scored...
Naivety at the back again.
Well, it weren't just naivety.
Yeah, but it was the same against Wolves when we got the goal as well, wasn't it? And then they went in...
It weren't naivety, right? I mean, what was the structure? I mean, I seen Harry Maguire at times playing on the left wing, playing on the right wing, right? Running down the middle, right? Lindelof wandering all over. He didn't know where what he was doing. He was up front at some point, you know what I mean? But it wasn't like with tactics with the left winger or anything like that. It was just wandering up. People were just running around like headless chickens. That's all it was. And they were hoping to try and get something out of it because I could see, you could see, and everyone out there could see Fulham had settled for a 1-0 victory. Settling for a 1-0 victory, Fulham at Old Trafford. Them players didn't pull it out the bag the last 10 minutes. That was schoolboy football because every player wasn't looking after each other. And at the end of the day, it was poor, but it has to change. But I'm expecting, I'll tell you what I'm expecting, truthfully. I'm expecting Eric Ten Hag to drop certain people, okay? The writing's on the wall for Anthony, okay? The writing is on the wall. Forson starts the game, okay? Ahmad comes on. Anthony, there's two players in front of him. Anthony comes on with seconds to go. If I was Anthony, regardless of my previous form or anything like that, I'd think to myself, whoa, two players, young kids in front of me.
You'd be on the phone to your agent saying, look, get me out of here in the summer. Whether that's right or wrong, based on his previous performances, for me, he's not done enough to start the game. So I don't mind that from Eric Ten Hag, to be honest with you, giving someone else a chance on that right-hand side.
Saying.
He's had enough time to prove himself and give some of the youngsters a chance where, you know, the jury's still out on Forson, whether he can really make it here long-term for Manchester United. Ahmad as well, to be honest with you, but I don't mind that where he's giving other people an opportunity.
The jury's out on Forson and Ahmad, right? But the whole object was to win the game, and he's not trusted Anthony, right? But he still keeps trusting Rashford, who's jogging around, not putting the effort in. Yeah. That is the baffling thing about it. At least Anthony puts the effort in, tracks back, keeps hold of the ball and looks to give the ball and try and get past there. Obviously, in the area is where we want him, out on the wing, cutting in. Not good enough. It's not been good enough, right? But the effort's there. We don't see that from Rashford, but he keeps picking him. I don't know why. It's baffling. Now, then you look at Bruno. Bruno's form's dropped off. That has to pick up for Wednesday night. We have to do well in this FA Cup. We have to go on a roll. You know?
Sorry, you've just talked about Bruno, but you've just skirted over him.
No, I just mentioned it.
I know. But I think he needs to be talked about, to be honest with you, because he's been taking a lot of pelters. You know, you look at his performance against Fulham as the actual Manchester United captain. I'm sure a lot of yous out there have seen that video clip of him rolling about on the floor as well, when there was absolutely no need for it. So for me, he needs to pick himself back up, and especially realising that he's got that captain's armband on his shoulder as well, or in his arm, so to speak.
Well, like I say, for Bruno to do that performance with his antics, I've not seen them for a month. I've not seen him for a month. And I go back to what I said previously. I do believe something is seriously wrong, because what's happened in that week to change the attitude from virtually all the players to play as individuals and not as a team with no effort, the standards completely dropped off. Bruno's standards dropped off. I'm not saying they were great with the 4 wins and the draw against Tottenham, but what it was a change of attitude from them all. From Bruno, he was in his position, he wasn't running round, he wasn't shouting and bawling at people, wasn't moaning at refs or anything, wasn't diving on the floor. And then suddenly it's all come back, but it's come back with them all. Something is seriously going on at United now, and we can't see it. We're not privy to it. So I do think at the end of the day, there's big things going on where INEOS have told these players and told everyone at the club, you're out or you've got to do this, and people don't like it.
Do you expect the team, though, to bounce back, though, against Nottingham Forest? We do have setbacks. We've seen it for the majority of our lives following for Manchester United, where we've had setbacks, disappointments, but they then can bounce back in the following game.
I've got to go back 34 years and say, can they bounce back? I look at that, and a lot of United fans looked at it, you know, proper Reds, you know, at the time. They die hard, no matter what. We're going to win, we're going to win. And people were wavering then. And when you look at the people what was out, Brian Robson, Paul Ince, Lee Sharp was out, you know, it was like, oh, no. But the good thing is everyone went there mad for it. FA Cup, under the lights, it's at Forest.
Yeah.
I got behind it. Proper FA Cup occasion. And I expect the same from our fans again, OK? Going there for it, but with apprehension. And to be honest, people didn't know if we was going to come away with a win or anything because of what was going on in the club, around the club, with the media and everything. And the same here again. And I can't really say what it's going to be because there's that much going on, seriously going on, that we don't know what's going on. But there is carnage. There is carnage. And I've said there's going to be carnage. So I've said it all year. There's going to be carnage, ups and downs, ups and downs. And hopefully this will be a pivotal moment for Erik ten Hag, as it was Sir Alex Ferguson in 1990.
Comparing the situation, obviously not the managers. Or
no, the same situation.
Yeah, of course.
Everything is the same. Like I said at the beginning, it's deja vu. And United fans won't be going there expecting to win. I tell you that now. They won't expect to win. We want to win. I'm hoping to win. But we're not expecting to win. Not with this team, and the same many, many years ago.
Yeah, any score predictions for today's game? I mean, Wednesday's game, sorry. I wish we was playing tonight, to be fair.
Score predictions. I'm going for a 1-0 again. I'm going for a 1-0 again. But what it is, my worry is the amount of... I mean, I read a stat there the other day. The amount of efforts on Man United's goal.
Got it.
Unbelievable.
Manchester United have conceded 435 shots in the Premier League this season. Only Sheffield United have conceded more, and that's a stat from Statman Dave. Little shout out for you there, mate.
I mean, that's unbelievable. The second worst team to concede efforts on goal. That shows what that tells me is what I've been saying for like last year and this year. We're too wide open in the midfield. And that's why we're not getting, that's why we're only relying on moments, because there's no structure of play on the pitch. And that's why I'm going for a 1-0. But to concede that many chances, Onana's come into this team, right? New goalkeeper, his head must be battered. He never expected the pressure like this for the Manchester United, for any defence really. I mean, when you look, imagine if most of them had gone in, or half of them had gone in. I dread to think where we'd be. So, the end of the day, we've got away with it. But to have stats like that comparing to Sheffield United, that's poor, that.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 1-0 win as well. Let us know your score predictions. And I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us today, getting involved in the chat. And we will be back on Tuesday with another discussion on Manchester United. So hopefully we can see you all there. I'll see you in the next one, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.